everybody up? Okay. Good. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're here to discuss the missing person investigation of Rudy Farias. But before I do that, I want to address our dash cam news that's been in the news starting 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to do that really, really quickly. And then I'm going to bring up Lieutenant Zamora from the Missing Persons Unit. Who'll provide some detail on the investigation. And also Commander Garcia will come in and translate for us. So a few weeks ago, there was a report that we only had only 15% of our vehicles were equipped with body-worn cameras, with dash cams, I meant to say. That didn't take into account that we don't equip dash cams on investigative vehicles. So let me give you just a quick breakdown on the actual numbers. We have about 3,200 vehicles on our fleet used for various duties. 1,400 of those vehicles are equipped with lights and sirens, our traditional patrol cars. 1,800 of those are investigative vehicles and undercover vehicles. Of that number, of the 1,400, not every marked vehicle is used to conduct traffic stops, investigations, calls for service. Examples: if you have a vehicle that's assigned to public affairs, community affairs, it's a show vehicle. I'm not putting a dash cam on it. If we have vehicles assigned to our training division and we're just training officers how to drive, I'm not putting dash cams on that. So the actual numbers, we have 579 vehicles out of the 1,400 vehicles are equipped with dash cams. The mayor has agreed to devote additional $2 million, and that will outfit an additional 143 vehicles. So we're not at 100%, like I said when I did that interview, but we're definitely moving in that right direction. So I want to thank the mayor again for stepping in with that funding. Last thing I want to say about that, and we'll bring up the lieutenant. During my administration, which has been a little bit over 2 years, we've equipped 355 vehicles. That's probably 60% or so of our fleet right now. So we do believe in transparency, and definitely as the chief of police, I believe in transparency. So anything that we can do to move that in that direction. But I'm going to bring the investigator up, and we'll hold up, Mario. I'm going to bring the investigator up, and we're going to entertain all questions at the end about the dash cams and also this investigation. So we'll entertain everything at the end. Come on.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Zamora with the Homicide Division Missing Persons Unit. To my left, I have Detective Sergeant Jimenez, Detective Brian Ford, and Detective Atlanta Claiborne. Today we're discussing facts related to 25-year-old Rudy Farias, who was reported missing on March 7, 2015. He was 17 years old when his mother reported him missing. During the 8-year time frame where he was missing, investigators followed up on many tips, leads, collected evidence proving that Rudy was not missing during the 8-year period. Many of these facts included contacts and statements with relatives, friends, neighbors, and medical professionals. Rudy was recently identified as having previous HPD interactions, meaning that he made contact with patrol officers out on the street. However, during these contacts, fictitious names and date of births were given, misleading the officers, and Rudy would remain missing. In fact, both Janie, Rudy's mother, and Rudy himself gave fictitious names while interacting with various patrol officers. After investigators talked with him yesterday, it was discovered that Rudy returned home the following day on March 8th, 2015. The mother, Janie, continued to deceive police by remaining adamant that Rudy was still missing. She alleged her nephew was a person friends and family were seen coming and going. However, we disputed that. Currently, the DA has declined any charges at this time for making fictitious reports and failure to ID. Investigators have reached out to Adult Protective Services. HPD Victim Services has reached out. We've also connected Rudy with Victim Services to ensure that he has a method to recover. Now, based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse reported. If there is a disclosure made, we will continue to investigate. Currently, the investigation is active, and there are new leads coming in. We'll continue to follow those leads. We do take all allegations seriously, and any new information or facts that we receive will be investigated.
Thank you, Lieutenant. One question at a time, please.
Oh,
Do
no.
not yell them out.
I'm gonna let him translate, then we're gonna do it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Chief.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Chief. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thanks.
Buenos días y gracias a todos por estar aquí. Antes de hablar sobre el caso involucrando a la persona desaparecida Rudy Farias, vamos a hablar un poquito sobre un asunto que ha aparecido en las noticias, que es referente a las cámaras montadas en el tablero de los vehículos policíacos. Queremos avisarles que de todos los vehículos que tenemos en nuestra flota, no todos necesitan una cámara montada. Muchos vehículos son usados en investigaciones, no hacen paros de detención de tráfico y esos no necesitan cámaras montadas. También si son vehículos que van a ir a asuntos comunitarios, esos vehículos no necesitan cámaras montadas. Lo que sí podemos decirles es que de los que sí necesitan cámaras montadas, el 50% de nuestros vehículos tienen esas cámaras y estamos trabajando con el alcalde, que nos ha dado $2 millones para ponerle las cámaras al resto de nuestros vehículos. Aproximadamente 143 vehículos van a ser, se les va a agregar esa cámara montada y esperamos acabar con el resto de la flota cuando haya fondos necesarios. Ahora, referente al caso de Rudy Farias, voy a hablar un poco sobre lo que dijo el teniente de esta investigación. En el 2015 se reportó a este individuo como una persona desaparecida. En ese momento tenía 17 años de edad. La investigación que han conducido los detectives nos indica de que esta persona en realidad no estaba desaparecida, que hubo contactos con la policía durante estos 8 años. Desafortunadamente, cuando hubo contacto con la policía, este individuo dio otro nombre, un nombre ficticio, y por eso nunca se pudo indicar en nuestros récords, en nuestros archivos, de que esta persona que había sido reportada desaparecida había tenido contacto con la policía. Entonces, van a contestar sus preguntas. En este momento nada más quiero decirles de que cualquier necesidad que tenga Rudy se le va a dar. Si necesita ayuda de nuestras divisiones de asistencia a víctimas, se les va a proporcionar. ¿Okay? No se les ha dado ninguna, el procurador, la oficina del procurador no ha aceptado ningún cargo en este momento. Gracias.
Go ahead. Right.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
we heard from activist Cornell X, and he made some shocking allegations that he was
I'm
in
having
the
them.
room with a detective, and he heard from Rudy firsthand. He said that there were sexual abuse allegations and that he was drugged by his mother. From what you just said today, are you saying that the activist was lying?
Basically, what we're saying is our investigation is our investigation, and we treat it the same. We're going to, our investigators were in the room, and basically, what they heard and what they interviewed, that's what we attest to in our offense reports and our investigations. And I'm not here, neither are they here to question anybody's integrity, but our integrity with the Houston Police Department stands, and we're going to report and put in offense reports what victim or potential victim tells us, okay?
But just to be clear, in that room, the detective did not hear anything about sexual abuse allegations.
Go ahead.
Can you just clear that up?
Yeah, Sergeant Stefan Jimenez. Yes, I interviewed him, and no, there was no, I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I'm trained to listen for statements that can help me get charges or move forward with a case. And no, there was no statements made during this investigation so far, no.
Thank you. Next question. Go ahead, Mario.
Can that be answered in
Wait a minute. Go ahead. We get it. Yeah. Go ahead.
There was no reports of sexual abuse. Is that correct, sir? What you said?
That is correct, coming from
Okay.
Rudy Farias.
Was there any conversations about a sexual relationship between the mother and the son?
So we don't release any type of information related to sexual assaults. That's just state law. I
Okay.
can't comment on that.
Go ahead.
Chief, is Rudy a victim then in all of this, or did he and his mother work together? I mean, he wasn't missing now.
The investigation is still going on, Courtney, and I'm not going to say if he's a victim or not. I'm thinking, and saying we're going to treat this just as we do with any potential victim or victim, and we're going to give respect to everybody that's involved. We're going to conduct our investigation, and we're kind of right at the beginning of it. This investigation is going to go on after this press conference.
What's next? Could we see any
Sorry.
charges?
If charges are appropriate, they'll see, but let us conduct the investigation. And what's next, Courtney, just as any other investigation, we're going to follow our evidence. We're going to do more interviews, and we're going to follow the evidence, and I think that's important. Go ahead.
Chief, can you say, were there any signs of mental illness, that he might be mentally ill, that his mother might be mentally ill?
We're not going to say that right now. Anyway, we're going to conduct the investigation. It's really too early to determine that. There are going to be some more parts to the investigations, and some of that may come into play, but right now,
Just because there were some other allegations that he had been held prisoner, that he had been taken to Mexico, is there any indication that that was true, or was that like a delusion?
Lieutenant.
You guys want
Yeah.
to?
Because that would have been kidnapping, right, or holding somebody against their will?
We don't have any information to say there was any kind of kidnapping or anything like that right now.
Okay.
Have any search warrants been served at the house where he used to be?
I think it's no search warrants.
No, at the
Yeah.
time he was reported missing 8 years ago, being missing is not a crime. So the detectives had no lawful means or probable cause to issue a search warrant for the residence, which was searched several times.
We're going to work our way down, and we'll get back to you. Go ahead. Yes.
On the dash cams, what is the timeline for installation for the new ones?
There's no permanent timeline. As you can imagine, there's a cost to it, and there are some complications. And give you one just quick thing, a challenge. 200 of our vehicles are modeled 2014, are older. That's a challenge. I'm not, when we're up against a financial budget like we are, you got to pick and choose, and you got to prioritize some things. So, but as quickly as funding comes in, we're going to work to get in all of our patrol vehicles and those vehicles that come into contact with the public with dash cams. But I want people to realize one thing: 100% of our officers that's out there on the streets have body-worn cameras on. 100%, and we know for a fact that if you would choose dash cams, I'd love to have both systems, okay, 100%. But once you get out that car where most things happen in interaction, hand-to-hand, I want that body-worn camera. But as we get funding in, and as I said, the mayor is stepping up, like he always does. But he can only do so much. This funding issue didn't start. And I'm going to say this, I stay away from politics, okay? But the citizens in Houston, at some point in time, we're going to have to really face how we're going to properly fund public safety and public servants, okay? Because you need better fire trucks, you need better equipment. We can't keep kicking that can down the street. We're going to have to talk about things of a revenue cap. but we'll leave it to the politicians. Next question. Go ahead.
So I heard you mention that there was no need for a search warrant when he was reported missing years ago, but in between yesterday and the day that he was discovered, was anything searched? Was anybody questioned? Did anybody go by the house?
Rudy and his mother were interviewed yesterday. As far as anyone going to the house, it's still active investigation. We can't release details pertaining to that.
Also, quick clarity, was he 17 at the time that he was missing?
Yes, sir, that's
Yes.
correct.
So he's 25.
He's
25 now. Yeah. Go ahead, Mario. I'll get y'all. Hold up. Go ahead.
Was there a missing persons report filed by his mother at the very beginning?
That was in March 7th of 2015.
So there was a missing persons report that was filed,
Correct.
and so this is what I'm asking on this end. Could the mother be detained for filing a missing persons report and never once informing HPD that he came home?
Yes, she could be reported or detained. That offense is a Class C misdemeanor, which is similar to a traffic citation.
Right.
You're not going to jail.
Rudy
Go ahead.
Farias was found on Thursday. Your investigator spoke to him nearly a week later. Do you think it was a mistake not to speak to him sooner? You said yourself the DA has not accepted charges. That's a week where evidence could be destroyed. What's your
I'll let you
response
answer.
to that?
So it's procedure for the investigation to go through a channel, and when it reaches us, we review it. There was no urgency to investigate a recovered or found person. And I say that because patrol officers made contact with him. They ensured that he was safe. They contacted HFD to make sure that he didn't need medical treatment, and he was cleared on scene by HFD. He refused transportation to the hospital. His mother took him to the hospital later on that evening.
What the lieutenant said, I think, is important. You can't force a potential victim of a missing person, okay, with nothing else, to come in and give a statement. So it takes time to try to work with people to get that statement.
And
Okay.
I know you believe in transparency, and I just, for the public, we're gonna put this on the news and it's gonna cause more questions, because yesterday we hear from the activist who makes these shocking allegations, and as a reporter who was there, I did see him myself go in and out of the room, so it was clear that he had some sort of communication.
Transparency doesn't come in front and maintaining the integrity of the investigation, and that's where my transparency stops. But and this is the last question I'm gonna ask about the activists or anybody else. You know, we're gonna follow our investigation, and we treat it the same. Everybody has a role in society, and we respect everybody, including our activists. But the integrity of the investigation is number one, and we're gonna maintain that. Okay?
Him going inside that room,
Yeah.
did that jeopardize the investigation by allowing?
I don't think so. Go ahead. Anybody?
Do you know where's Rudy at this moment and his mom?
Yes, we do. Rudy's safe. He is with his mother by choice.
And he's an adult.
Yeah.
He's a 25-year-old man.
Right. Hey, we're going to get a few more. Mario right here, and then we're going to work our way down. Probably four more. We're going to wrap.
You used the word a minute ago in describing Rudy as a victim. We know that
I said potential victim, and I want to be respectful on that. Yep.
he disappeared when he was a young man, a teenager.
17.
17 years old. There's been cases in the past where people have been brainwashed, where people have been told you cannot, and they're being held against their will. For everyone that's going to be watching this worldwide, because this is a worldwide story, how do you not separate him until you guys are able to get everything together, considering that he disappeared as a child?
Mario, you've been in the business for a long time, and I'm gonna let you answer that. Okay? We've explained everything, some of the challenges and whatnot. Here's a fact: he's a grown man. 20. Listen to what I'm saying. If you want me to answer you. No, he was an adult, 17. Hold up. Okay? Not confrontational. You know, I respect what everybody does. Okay? But 17 years old. That's an adult in the state of Texas. Okay? A lot of things that we shared up here. So we're gonna work our way through it. It takes a little while. there's a lot of development still, even last night, okay? We know that. Everything's coming up. We're going to investigate it. The integrity is going to stay in place. We're going to treat him the same as any other person that comes through that we're conducting an investigation on. I'm done with that part. Go ahead, Courtney.
Detective, this might be a better question for the
Go ahead.
detective, I don't know.
Okay? Anybody?
What's the reason then, what can you tell us about why Rudy and his mother then allegedly lied for 8 years and said he was missing when he clearly wasn't?
I can answer that, though. I mean, to
Yeah.
protect,
What's
we can't predict motivation or whatnot. We could just try to, yeah, right, yeah.
That they said, why go on living this life?
But you know, during the interview and the particulars of it, it's active investigation. We respect that, but can't, yeah. Next question, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, an 8-year investigation like that, how many resources does it take out that?
We wasn't just doing 8 years total investigation, okay? So it went dormant for a little bit, but the case was still open, okay? And I want to say this: until we find people, until we clear it, that's when it should be cleared. But if your question is, we expended some resources, absolutely, yes.
You said that with the dashboard cameras, the age of some of the vehicles presents a challenge to installation. Is that what you meant?
No, you're prioritizing, okay? We're in a budget that there are challenges, okay? And what I presented, and we'll side note this, okay, because it takes a little while to explain it. When you have challenges, people look at a $1 billion budget, okay? And everybody just, oh my God, HPD has a lot of money. 92% of that goes to salary and benefits, so it's not a whole lot of money. We have to pay our people, and we have to be competitive. The mayor just gave $7.2 million so we can get more cadets in. So there are a lot of challenges. And what I'm saying is, this didn't happen just in the mayor's administration. For years, you need so much amount, 14 million. I always talk about that, to properly replace vehicles in our fleet. But some years when things are just, you got a lot of stuff going on, okay? When you don't get that, it kicks it back and it makes it worse. We have an aging fleet. 50% of our vehicles, or a little bit more, are beyond the replacement life. And that's patrol vehicles, 100,000 miles, 5 years. Unmarked vehicles, 120,000 miles, 7 years, okay? So we have a very aging fleet and a lot of other problems. So we prioritize, and we're going to get there where we need to. But I'll side state. Go ahead. Yes.
Because I know you said it's an ongoing investigation, but can you say whether that they did give some sort of explanation as to why they did this? Or
No.
you can't say it all?
No, we're not going to say anything. Let me get you, and then I'm going to get you. You're going to be the last one. Go ahead.
So, I know that, why were HPD officers at the home this morning? And also, I know family members are concerned for Rudy's safety. Is there no concerns as far as the investigation?
You guys want to talk about that call for service?
We can. It's a call for service.
Yeah.
There was a burglary report last night at the house. Patrol responded, and we were alerted because it was a house of note, and it's been part of the investigation, and that is also now part of our investigation, what happened last night, and it's still going.
You said in the beginning of
Thank
this
you.
press conference that Rudy has made contact with patrol units at some point. Can you explain what that was, and does he face
Lieutenant.
any charges for saying that he had false names?
So it is a criminal offense to give false names when you're detained, under arrest, or you're making a valid police report. There was an instance where he did that, him and his mother. At this time, though, the district attorney has declined to accept charges on that until our entire investigation has been
So you
complete.
tried to charge him as well?
The facts were presented to the district
Good.
attorney.
Mario, we're going to end it, okay? Go ahead.
Can you say what that contact was quickly, though, with him? You said patrol units. Was it like he was stopped in his car? Can you just
I
tell
was
us?
gonna ask specifically, did HPD ever go to his home and with his mother, and were any fictitious names given at all?
Investigators did go out to the home multiple times. They talked to various family members, relatives, friends, neighbors, and yes, they were given a fictitious name
So was there contact made with Rudy at his home?
Let me close with this one thing, okay? Let me close with this, Mario. Look, we've been open as we can. It's not our first investigation, and everybody here understands what I'm saying about the integrity investigation. This is where we're going to end. We wanted to get up before a lot because this has come as not only a local, but a national, and some cases international, okay, because of everything that's going on. But it ends today, not our investigation, but as we get more information and when it's appropriate, we'll send out information, okay? So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for your patience, and thank y'all for what you do every day. Yeah, yeah. That's it. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Rudy's father, Chief, by any chance? When you were on
Can we just get the names of the officers?
Yeah.